Captain Maya Chen had seen many strange things during her 15 years piloting cargo freighters across the Outer Rim territories, but the sight that greeted her outside the Nexus Station marketplace still gave her pause. A Zephyrian female, her blue-scaled skin dulled with exhaustion, sat hunched against the station's metallic wall with a tiny infant clutched to her chest. The baby's crystalline eyes, a trademark of the aquatic species, flickered weakly in the artificial lighting. Maya approached cautiously. Zephyrians were known for their pride and technological prowess, not for begging in spaceport alleys. The female looked up as Maya's shadow fell across her, revealing gills that fluttered desperately in the thin, dry air of the station. "Please," the Zephyrian whispered in accented standard. "My child needs water treatment. Medical bay. I have nothing left to trade." Maya glanced around the busy marketplace. Other species hurried past, Krathan merchants with their chitinous shells, ethereal voidlings floating in their containment suits, burly human traders. None spared a second look for the desperate mother. "What happened to your ship?" Maya asked, crouching down to the Zephyrian's level. The alien's name was Cyreth, and her story unfolded in broken phrases. Her research vessel had suffered critical failure 3 systems away. The escape pod had barely made it to Nexus Station before its life support failed. Her infant son, Keleth, was suffering from atmospheric poisoning, a condition fatal to Zephyrians without proper treatment within 6 hours. Maya checked her chronometer. The nearest Zephyrian colony was 8 hours away at maximum burn. The medical facilities at Nexus Station lacked the specialized equipment for aquatic species treatment. "The healer's world," Cyreth whispered, her gills fluttering more rapidly. 4 hours away. They have universal treatment facilities, but I cannot pay for passage. Maya stood, her mind racing. The healer's world was notorious for its prices, but they were the best medical facility in 3 sectors. Her cargo run could wait. She was only hauling mining equipment to the asteroid belt colonies, nothing time-sensitive. But what Cyreth was asking for wasn't just passage. She needed someone to trust her with their ship while she underwent the dangerous journey through the nebula fields, space that required an experienced pilot and constant course corrections. "Listen," Maya said finally, pulling out her ship's access cards. "These are the keys to my freighter, the Resilient Dawn. It's docked in Bay 47. The navigation system is pre-programmed with safe routes, and there's a medical isolation chamber in the cargo hold that can be converted for aquatic life support." Cyreth's large eyes widened in shock. You would trust me with your vessel. My species might be young compared to yours, but we've learned a few things about taking leaps of faith," Maya replied. "Besides, what kind of person would I be if I watched a child die when I could help?" She handed over the keys, along with her emergency medical authorization codes. "The Dawn's AI will guide you through the conversion process. When you get back, dock in Bay 47, I'll be waiting." Cyreth clutched the keys with trembling fingers. "But why? You know nothing of me. I could steal your ship, disappear into the void. Your people and mine have no treaties, no agreements," Maya smiled grimly. "Maybe that's exactly why this matters. Go. You're burning daylight." The next 18 hours were the longest of Maya's life. She rented a cramped station quarters and monitored long-range communications for any sign of the Resilient Dawn. Twice, she caught brief transponder signals from the nebula fields indicating Cyreth was navigating the dangerous passage successfully. When Bay 47's docking alert finally chimed, Maya ran through the station corridors faster than dignity allowed. She arrived at the observation deck just as the familiar bulk of her freighter settled into its berth with practiced precision. But something was wrong. The Resilient Dawn looked different. As Maya moved closer, her breath caught in her throat. The ship's hull gleamed with an iridescent coating she'd never seen before. Sections that had been scarred from years of asteroid impacts now showed seamless, mirror-bright surfaces. The airlock cycled open, and Cyreth emerged, carrying a healthy, brightly colored infant who babbled happily in her arms. But she wasn't alone. 3 other Zephyrians followed, all wearing the distinctive robes of the Species Council. "Captain Chen," Cyreth said formally, Approaching with the baby and the council members in tow, I return your vessel with deepest gratitude. Maya accepted her keys, but her eyes remained fixed on her transformed ship. Cyrith, what? Your freighter required minor repairs after the journey through the nebula fields. One of the council members interrupted, his voice carrying the authority of age. We took the liberty of applying biometallic regeneration treatment to the hull damage, upgrading your life support systems, and installing a quantum-encrypted navigation array. It is standard practice, Mo, another council member added, when a member of the Terran species demonstrates the ancient virtue of Kalethma, the protection of young life at personal risk. Maya stared at them. I gave her the keys to help a sick kid. Exactly, Cyrith smiled, and her infant son reached out tiny hands toward Maya. You risked everything for nothing but compassion. Your species fascinates the Council. We have watched humanity spread across the stars for decades, wondering if you would maintain your unusual ethical flexibility as you gained power. The Q. Eldest council member stepped forward. Captain Chen, the Zephyrian Collective formally extends an offer of alliance to Earth's colonial authority. We believe your species possesses something we had forgotten in our centuries of technological advancement. What's that? The willingness to hand over the keys to strangers, simply because it's right. Maya looked at her transformed ship, then back at the baby reaching for her. She gently touched one tiny webbed finger. Well, she said softly, someone once told me that's what separates the civilized species from the barbaric ones. Though I guess he never mentioned which category we fell into. As the council members began discussing formal diplomatic procedures, Maya realized that sometimes the most shocking thing wasn't what you found when you came back, but discovering that the thing you thought was a risk had actually been the right choice all along. The baby gurgled happily, and Maya couldn't help but smile. Humanity's reputation in the galaxy had just changed forever, all because she'd decided to trust a desperate mother with the keys to her ship. Some gambles, she realized, were worth taking.